Hello, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to Crafters TV, brought to you by Crafters Companion. My name's George Akid. Happy Wednesday. Is it Wednesday? It is Wednesday. Loads of you getting in touch today, already excited about this wonderful craft along. Remember, you can get involved in the show. It is a craft along, award-winning, ladies and gentlemen, award-winning craft along, and we are joined by a wonderful teacher. It's everyone's favourite. It's Jan. Good afternoon, my dear.
Good afternoon. It's nice to be back together again, isn't it?
It really is.
Our paths have crossed quite a lot this month, haven't they?
Absolutely.
Loving it, yes. So we've got craft along for the first 2 hours, and then I think our Keith's coming back later on in the show, so you'll see him and those gorgeous products. Just been having a little nosy later on in the show. So yes, we're going to be working with those Tower of Treats boxes this afternoon. So I had a look through them, and it was like, well, what do you do with those other than what they're intended for? So I've kept it reasonably simple today. Now the title on this one is called an advanced picnic box, but don't be put off by that word advanced, because we're literally going to go through it in real time and take it step by step. You do actually get instructions in your pack, but I think sometimes it's nice to do it together and actually learn how it works. So the way this goes is you've got your gorgeous little gift box there, but when you open this up, we've actually got 4 individual gift boxes inside there, and each one opens up with its own little space, so you can have all the same gift in. You might have 4 different gifts in. And I thought, you know, with Mother's Day coming up here in the UK, I know it's a wee bit later, I think it's May over in the States, but I just thought this was a beautiful way of presenting, you know, maybe a nice little gift, maybe some sort of chocolates. You might have some nice sort of, and you can buy lots of different flavoured tea bags, things like that, and actually make it into a proper sort of collection of gifts in there. So yeah, that's what we're going to work our way through. Decorated with lots of mats and layers for you today. So those of you that want to have a practice with that guillotine, we've got loads going on, because it's decorated on the outside, decorated on the inside, decorated on the lid, so you'll be fed up of hearing me with the guillotine today. And then it all fits together beautifully to give you that, I think it's 5 by 5, yeah, 5-inch square box when you're finished, okay? So that's where we're heading. So I'm going to go through the list for you, for anybody that's not actually got all the bits and pieces together, just so that you know what we need for the craft along, and then we'll give you a few minutes to get all that collated. So product-wise, obviously going to need your chosen die, and that's actually from it's the picnic treat box that we're using for this particular one today. We're going to need white stamping card. Now I wrote down 6 sheets of that because the boxes take a sheet of stamping card each. So 6 sheets of white, 2 sheets of plain card. Now I chose a turquoise colour for my, and this is for the matting and layering, so I just chose a turquoisey colour for mine. 2 sheets of patterned paper of your choice. Mine were from that lovely Enchanted Dreams collection, and I've gone for that sort of turquoisey shade for mine today. And then you're going to need 1 sheet of Centura Pearl. The lid's made from Centura Pearl, and that's a contrasting colour. So in mine, I chose the Pacific colour, which just went nicely with the rest of the colour scheme. And then a sheet of mirror card, which is just for decoration purposes. So if you've not got a whole piece of that, some scraps of that will do, just to, again to fit that colour scheme. And then we're going to need a suitable sentiment stamp to go on the inside, a little bit of ribbon to match your colour scheme, and then some gems as well, just for decoration. So that's the product side of it. And then, as always, we've got that, what I tend to refer to now as a basic toolkit. So we will need a Gemini to cut those boxes, and they do need to be on the large Gemini today. I don't normally specify one, but the size of the die is the big Gemini. Now, if you have only got the junior, I will show you how you can fit them through the junior. So I don't want to sort of discount anybody. Need your guillotine, scoreboard, scoring tool, and bone folder as usual, scissors, pokey tool, pencil, ruler, low tack tape, and then some kind of stamping platform ready for doing the sentiments and things. And I've stamped in quick dry ink. And then I've got my opaque pigment ink in parakeet, just because I edged all the pieces of paper. So we'll see how the time goes today with that bit. But if you want to do any inking, a coordinating ink. Red line tape, foam pads, and then I've popped on the bottom the glues, the all-purpose, the tacky glue, and the 2 tape pens there to have at the ready in reach for, I know everybody's got preferences on which glue they like to use, so I normally list them all so that they're ready at hand. So we'll give you a couple of minutes to get all that together together if you've not collated everything, and then we'll come back ready to start in a few minutes.
Absolutely.
George, yep.
Loads of you get in touch already. Caitlin's on the socials today. Sarah on Facebook saying hello everyone from Melbourne, Australia. Kimberly saying good morning from North Carolina. Connie saying hello. Barbara is saying, can you tell Jan, my daughter loved the Valentine chocolate bar box from your demo in Feb. I copied and made 3 of them.
Yep. Yeah,
love that.
Lovely.
If you want to get involved in the show, comment below. Caitlin's there. She'll be there answering any questions that you've got for us today. We are looking at the brand new treat box die collection. A 25% saving on this, £88.99, $101.95. Still a huge saving from its launch day. You can make some amazing things at this. You're getting the 3 different sets of dies, and you're also getting the hook and loop fasteners as well. You're getting here, you're getting the picnic treat box, you are getting the prism treat box, and you are getting the roll-up treat box as well. When you are using these different elements, you can make some amazing goodies. I mean, maybe you can make something like this. You can go really small and start small, and then as you get advanced, get more advanced and get a bit more confidence with them, you can make some amazing things just like this. When you open it out, it is incredible. And I've got for this something we're making today, isn't it, Joan? Very similar to this, isn't it?
Yes, that particular style, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you've also got the options with these wonderful boxes, is making something perfect for Easter.
Yep.
Look at that, you can make that for Easter. How good would that look for a little Easter basket? Alternatively, using your roll-out prism, you can make something which looks like this, but when you roll it out, it's going to look incredible. Perfect. You've got all the different segments. It really is. Yep. A lot of thought and effort got into this. And guys, it's all been made possible with the kit. £88.99, $101.95. Now, as always on our craft alongs, as always with our wonderful Crafters Companion goodies, you're going to get your Club Inspire Platinum prices on this at £71.99, $81.56. Some great savings to be had today. That's ridiculously cheap. It's more than half price. Loads you get saying hello, getting excited about this craft along. Remember as well, if you haven't got the goodies that you need for the craft along today, you can come back and watch this show as many times as you wish. DI Hedges on YouTube. Sorry, not DI Hedges, Die Hedges.
It's just been promoted.
Sorry, DI Hedges. She's saying, what she said, of course the iPad's just crashed on me. Of course it has. Well, it's that critical moment. While I wait for it to load, I will say hello to our wonderful craft along. I was going to say craft along victim, but he's not a victim. Our craft along friend who is going to be joining us, the wonderful Jenny. Good morning or afternoon, Jenny. Where are you?
Good morning. I'm in Ohio.
In Ohio. Jenny, what time is it where you are at the moment?
It is 9:08
a.m. in the morning. You are ready to go over the East Coast. Look at me, know my times. So, Jenny, are you excited for this craft along today?
I am very excited. I haven't been on one in a while, so I'm ready to go.
Very good. So, Jenny, we'll be coming to you throughout the show. If you've got any questions, we'll try and help you out, Jenny, the best that we can. Right, Jenny's hair is amazing, Caitlin. It is amazing indeed. Die Hedges on YouTube, all the crafters on Crafters Companion are my favourite, but I have to say, Jenny's #1. Laura Jane Hunter, I learned to watch and now I can come back and make it later, and loads of you getting involved. Right, are you all ready for this? Are we all ready? Right, and Jan, let's start at the very beginning.
Let's start at the very good place to start.
It is indeed.
Isn't it? Yeah, very good place. So, right, I've got my bits and pieces at the ready here. So I've got my picnic treat box, which is the die that we're going to use. There are 3 separate dies today. Our George will show you those in a bit more detail as we go through the show. But I'm going to use the picnic treat box. So in here, you get the dies to make that little square box that, like the sample George just showed you. There are instructions then to turn it into the little picnic box, which is just 2 of them stuck together back to back and adding a handle. And then you also get a template in here which is made of that lovely mylar like the stencils that allows you to then take those boxes, that little box from here, and make it into sort of a bigger presentation box. So that's where we're going to head with that one today. We'll have a look at that in more detail. I've got my selection of cardstock. So I've got the white stamping card, I've got some plain turquoise for my mats and layers, I've got the Centura Pearl Pacific for the lid, and I've got what was left over from when I did the sample, some gorgeous sort of mirror card in that turquoise. And then I took my pattern papers from the Enchanted Dreams, and again I've got some pieces left over. I want to focus on that turquoisey area rather than the lilac, so I've got a couple of sheets of that. I've got a little bit of scrap if I need it left over from the previous project, so we'll get those out. And the first thing we're going to do is cut those 4 boxes. Okay, so I'm going to put my papers out in front so that I can see where I'm at, and take you the die set out. There's loads and loads of metal in here. I just think, you know, every possible part of this has been covered with bits and pieces that you can use in your designs. So you do get a list of instructions in here, and it starts out showing you how to make the little square box, the basic box, and we're literally going to do that, but we're going to repeat it and do it 4 times. It also goes on to show you how to back to back 2 of them to make the picnic box there with the handle, and then on a reverse you've actually got the instructions to make the one that we're going to do today. So the advanced one here is one we're going to do today. So you've got those to refer to if you want to have those out on your desk. And like George has just said, you can watch us, you can pause us if you're watching back at any time to sort of go through it and actually work through it together with us. So I'm going to pop those to one side. You get 2 pieces of the template, and I'm going to pop those to one side for now. The large one is the lid, so you can see there that we've got the size of the lid and then the pieces that are going to form the edges there. I'm going to pop that to one side. I don't need that one just yet. And this is going to form, when I take this off here, the actual side panels on the box here. You can see that these are made from that piece of template there. So you've got the glue tab at the bottom, which I've stuck underneath the box, and then you've got your side panel. So pop those to one side. We're going to move on to that later. What we're going to make first of all are the 4 boxes, and it's exactly the same. So we're going to put one together, and then you're going to repeat that same thing 4 times, and just get those basic boxes ready. Okay, lots of matting and layering for you today, so those of you that want to keep practicing that matting and layering technique, we're going to play with that as well. So all we need to start with, if you have a look at your die set there, we've got that large concept die. So I'm going to take that one off the carrier sheet, and this cuts out everything we need for the box. You've got the base and the lid, 3 inches square. You've got all the glue tabs in place. You've got the sides with the pieces that fold. So you've got those little pieces that fold inside here, and this is what helps to keep the lid closed when it tucks into the edge there. And so it's literally all being worked out. So if you're using your large Gemini, then we're good to go with that one. If you don't have a large Gemini, let me just grab the junior plates, because I don't want to exclude people from being able to do this. And there is a way. So it means that you'd have to, mind you, I'm saying there is a way, but we've got to go this way, haven't we? So I was thinking I could go this way. Now then. Yeah, this is not going to fit through the junior, is it? I'm thinking we could use it this way, but that would still need to go through the large Gemini, which defeats the objective, doesn't it? So yeah, we would need a larger format machine to cut the boxes out, okay? Alternatively, if you haven't, you could draw around that. You know, it's a nice, easy shape. You could actually pop this onto your piece of cardstock, draw around it, and then just pop your score lines in with a scoreboard. So there's always a way of getting round things if you haven't quite got the right equipment. So what I'm going to do is take one of my pieces of white stamping card, beautiful weight now, so 300 GSM is a nice construction weight for those boxes. I'm going to pop my die face down and then just tack it in place with a little bit of tape, and then pass this through the machine. I'm going to do this 4 times. So I want another 3 pieces of my stamping card, and I'm literally going to do that and make 4 separate boxes. So let's pop that one through and show you what it looks like when it's cut. So again, normal platform of plates there. Pass it through the machine, and that's going to cut out the shape that we need. It's also going to add those score lines. So that's the beauty of having that larger format machine, so that it does all the work for you. But like I say, there's a way around most things. If you think outside the box, there's a way around it. So just drawing around it and adding your own score lines in will still do exactly the same job. So this is fairly straightforward. We're literally just going to take that concept die off, and it gives you that box piece at the ready. So you can see when we fold this in all the score lines, you've got the beginnings of that lovely box shape. So we've got the sides there, you've got the little tabs ready to add your choice of glue, and we'll talk about that in a second. Okay, and then it's literally all going to come together like so. You've got those tabs at the side, and these are important to help it stay closed, the ones at the side. And when we stick it all together, you can see there that that's literally going to pop in the front, and that's literally as simple as that.
Yeah.
So that bit's really straightforward. So what I would like you to do next is take another 3 sheets of your white stamping card and just pass that die exactly like we've done through the machine so that we have 4 of these.
Yeah.
And then we can move on with the next step, George.
Perfect.
All right, my love,
So-
I'm going to do mine over
Yeah,
here.
you do that.
Throw back to you for a second while I
worries.
cut mine.
Absolutely. Loads of love coming in for this. Remember, you can always join in with this later. Save the show with the plate, save the show and come back and watch it later on. Great deal for you on the Gemini Pro here for you guys in the UK, only on this one. At a great price. Here it is for you. It's the beast, it's the daddy, it's the biggest Gemini you can get at £404, 10%. Hello. £404. No, from what I was just saying about the Gemini, the 404, 10%. You are saving yourself. Don't shout at me, Charlotte. You are getting here the huge machine. Now remember as well, you also get your Club Inspired discount here, £323.28. This is your larger machine designed to take those larger dies and larger plates. So no trouble with this at all. Using those dies here, it's going to be nice and easy. You can get, let me know if I'm wrong here, you get 12 by 12 plates and you can get the A4 size plates through there, 12 by 18 to the larger plates. I mean, let's be honest, not many of our dies are that large, but if you're doing mass production, then this is what this machine's going to be perfect
Fill
for.
those plates up, yeah.
Fill those plates up.
It can take it.
It can take it, right. Guys, it's a £404 and 10p. You've got a saving on that and you've got that platinum price option as well. Imagine this is your first time watching and you're going to get that 20% off today on buying the Gemini Pro. It's going to be the machine for you to get you through all your crafting needs. £404, 10p. Bargain, absolute bargain. Right, how many more have we got to do,
I've
Jen?
just got one more to cut and then I've got my 4 pieces ready.
Lovely.
Okay, so I've just got that last one to pop through there and then we've got 4 pieces at the ready, and then the next job is to start looking at those mats and layers because I prefer to decorate these while they're still flat. I find it easier to stick things down when you've got a hard surface rather than a box that's going to be hollow in the centre.
Yep.
So we're going to do some work on the mats and layers and the decoration and get all the boxes done. So my aim is to get those 4 boxes done and decorated in this first hour.
Yeah.
And then in the second hour, we can work on that casing and the lid. So that's the plan. Let's see how we get on as the show goes on. So that's my 4 pieces cut.
Yeah.
All identical. That was really straightforward. I'm going to get rid of this. If you want to keep the scraps of white, you can. I'm just going to pop mine through the bin because I've got so many scraps. It's getting out of hand. I'm going to pop the die back on that sheet so that I don't lose it. And then I've got my 4 pieces of card at the ready. So I'm going to work on that first one. Keep the other 3 to one side for a second because literally we're going to do the same thing now with all of them. So if you had a little trial run and had a practice with them, I did this very quickly. Wherever you've got a score line now, we're literally going to fold and burnish. So again, give it a nice squidge with that bone folder to make sure that that crease is nice and secure and you get that nice angle on it. And then again, the next one. And just be mindful that everything's lining up. Because it's die cut, you shouldn't have any problem with it, but just make sure that it's all lining up nice and straight. And keep folding it down and just secure those fold lines in.
Yep.
And we're going to do that. I'm going to work on one of them, and then we'll do the same to the others.
Hey, Sandra Evans is on YouTube. My 6-year-old grandson made the triangle treat box roll.
My
Was
word.
brilliant, very good.
That is amazing.
Really good indeed.
Brilliant, yeah? You get that sort of prism effect there, don't you, with it, yeah? All right, I nearly did that one. I was humming and ahhing between whether to do that one or whether to do the this one that we've got today. So there was a bit of... Which shall I shan't I? It was a bit of ip, dip, dip at the end of it to see which one came out on top. So wherever we've got that score line, literally just burnished all those in. And like I said, we're just going to end up eventually with glue on the tabs, popping those on the inside there, folding those in, and then this one will tuck. And it's a lovely, as I say, a little 3-inch box there. It's fit some nice bits and pieces in there. I mean, I'm already seeing like maybe 4 Ferrero Rochers in there. You could maybe pop some, I don't know, jewellery in one of them.
Yeah.
A nice little soft scarf would probably roll up small enough to fit in there, something like that. As I say, some nice sort of flavoured tea bags,
Yeah.
that kind of, loads of stuff that will fit in it.
Gloria's asking,
Yep.
can you let us know what the size of that box is?
3 by 3 when it's
3
put
by 3,
together.
yeah.
It's 3 inches square. All right, so each one of these is a 3-inch square when it's actually finished. All right, and the depth of them, let me just double check. I think it's 3 by 2 if I remember rightly. 3 by 1 3/4 the depth of it. So the actual box depth here is 1 3/4 inches. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a nice little size, as I say, and then the overall finished thing is 5 inches square, which is again a nice sort of gift box size. So what we're going to do now then, we're going to start and create. If I just look at one of these, you can see that I've decorated around the sides. So all 4 sides have got a matte layer on, and then they've got a paper. Sorry, these are just paper layers around the sides.
Yeah.
All right, and then the top one, I've done a matte layer and a paper layer. So I'm going to take the sides first, and we're going to cut all the segments for the sides for all 4 boxes. So 4 on each one. We need 16 pieces that measure the same size. So that's what we're going to cut into next.
Right.
Just on the paper layer. So you're going to need to choose your paper that, you know, whatever you decided on. And we're going to cut into this to make those pieces. Now we're looking, let me just get some of that scrap back for you, because I've got, and I can write on there then. Just get rid of some of the bits. We're looking for 16 pieces then, 4 for each box, 4 sides on each box. And we want to cut these at 2 3/4 inches across the width by 1 1/2 inches on the height.
Yeah.
So this is the width of it and this is the height. All right, so each one of these, if I sort of bring this to the side here, the paper panel on the back is 2 3/4 across the width. So I've come 1/4 inch in from my 3-inch width there.
Yeah.
And 1 1/2 inches in height, which is 1/4 inch down from that original height. All right, so you're going to need 16 pieces of this. So again, think about your paper. If you've got 12 by 12, I know that I can get 4 sets of 3 out of a strip. So if it's 12 inches across, divide it by 4, I've got 4 lots of 3 inches. Now my measurement is less than 3 inches, so I know I can get my sets of 4 on that across way.
Yeah.
If you've got a paper that's got a pattern on it, just be careful about your orientation of any pattern. That's why I went for something that was nice and abstract. So we're going to grab the guillotine. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my paper sideways because I want to use this more turquoise area rather than the lilac-y side. And I'm going to cut some strips that measure 1 1/2 inches. If you remember, that was my depth.
Yeah.
So at 1 1/2 inches, that's going to go and do me 1 box because I'm going to get 4 pieces. So I've lined it up on the 1 1/2 inch mark, made sure. Mine's got that gorgeous grid on here if you're using the Crafter's Companion guillotine, which makes it really nice and easy to get things nice and straight.
Yeah.
And then a cut there, and that's going to cut into 4 sections to give me 1 box. So I need another 3 of these. So again, I'm going to do the same again at 1 1/2 inches. Just line everything up and take that section off. And then we're going to do the same again. And it's just going to use up most of that turquoise part of my pattern paper there.
Yeah.
Perfect for the design. All right, so again, nice and straight. Cut that down, and then I need 1 more for my 4th box. And then we're going to cut into the length of these then. All right, so 4 pieces. I'm going to put this bit to one side. I may use some more of this later, but I'm getting into those lilac-y tones here. So we'll have a look and see what's working later on. So the 4 pieces that we've cut now, I'm literally going to take those into that 2 3/4 width now. I've got the depth at 1 1/2. And now I want to do the 2 3/4 widths out of them. So literally, again, measure it at 2 3/4. All right, and just literally take your piece off.
Yeah.
And you're going to have plenty to do this because, like we said, you'll get 4 lots of 3 out of here. So again, I want that nice piece with all those speckles on at the end there. And I'm just going to cut it down at 2 3/4 inches. And there's a lot of repetitive in this one, which I think in a way is quite nice because it gives you that sort of practice for cutting and for the matting and layering. So again, 2 3/4. You've got a little bit left over, which is scrap. You should just have that little tiny piece left over. And you've got 4 sections now that are all the same. And these are going to fit perfectly now on those side elements.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can just see there's a little border around the edge, 1/8 of an inch all the way around, and we've cut 4 to fit the 4 sides. So I'm going to repeat that process now on the other 3 pieces so that I've got all these ready.
Lovely.
And then, if you wish, and this is a personal thing, it's optional, it doesn't have to be done. If you want to take your inks and quickly go around the edges of these, which I like to do, and I've chosen parakeet out of our opaque inks.
Yeah.
And literally, it's a really quick process, but I think personally it just finishes them off. It draws your eye into that pattern on the paper and just finishes it. And it's relatively quick. So what I'm going to leave you to do now, while I pass back to George in a second, is to cut those other 3 strips into the same 4 panels. All right, so you'll have 4 sets of 4 pieces. And if you want to add the ink, you can just go around the edges of them with a chosen ink. If you don't want to do that bit, it doesn't make any difference to the construction. It's just, as I say, anybody that knows me, I can't not do this now. It's become ingrained in me now that I have to do this. And you can see it only takes a minute or so.
Yeah.
So I want you to repeat that now, that process, all right, with the other 3 strips until we've got 4 sets of 4 pieces at the ready.
Lovely.
Okay, and then I'm going to hand back over you to while I do mine, George.
Thank you, my lovely. Connie on YouTube. Jan is such a good teacher that teaches the methods and tricks. She's also very encouraging and inspiring. Isn't that lovely? Desert Dweller on YouTube. Good morning from Arizona. Yippee, it's Jan. She is the best.
Oh, bless you.
Just having a nice little chat amongst yourselves as well, which is quite nice. Enjoyed saying hello to each other. How are you? What did you have for a British National Pie Week? Did you know?
Oh.
Yeah, Johnny, what's your favourite pie? Steak and Stilton, you posh so-and-so. Charlotte's disgust. Wow. You like a mince pie at Christmas, bit of cream. Oh, my problem is, yeah, I've noticed up here, when you're up northeast, that Greggs stock different things than they do in Yorkshire. You get different pies up here than you do in
I've
Greggs.
never noticed that.
Yeah, I don't go to Greggs often. I love... Sarah C on YouTube. I love Jan's tutorial, so helpful. Would love to have been a student of hers. I would have passed more exams with these detailed explanations. So many of you getting in touch saying how much you love Jan. We are looking today at the treat box die collection. Now, there's so many different elements within here that you are getting today. Launched not long back, $89.99, $101.95. Remember your Club Inspire Platinum price. We're starting off first of all with your roll-up treat box. Now, this is a stencil. Now, one of the reasons the stencils are great within crafting is because it brings down the price. It really does indeed. So you can have this stencil to cut everything out, to roll it all out, and then you're going to get the dies as well to go alongside it to make some amazing features. Now, as you can see, you've got a large nest which looks a bit like a rocket, and then you've got all the different die elements which fit inside everything else. So the elements have been designed to fit inside everything. So you've got the panels here which fit inside, you've got the key, you've got the lock, you've got the butterflies. They're all designed to fit inside, so you haven't got to do any of the hard work, which is the most important thing. Now, something to bear in mind as well, what you're always going to get is the instruction sheets as well. So you're going to learn how to do these. So you've got the basics, that's the Prism Treat Box basic instructions. You flip it around the other way, you're going to get the basic, you're going to get the advanced instructions as well. Depending on what you want to make, you're going to get those instructions with you. Moving on to the Prism Treat Box. Have I just done the Prism Treat? No, this is the Prism Treat Box. Again, here's a stencil for you, and then you're going to get the dies which go alongside it. Again, everything designed to fit inside. So all the different all the different triangle pieces, the rectangles, all the different designs are going to get in there for you and make it nice and easy. And you've also got the picnic treat box. There you have the nest, and then again all the different dies which you've seen Jan using today to make your wonderful elements. And when you put it all together, you can make something like that. That's what I mean. You can make amazing little things, some great little goodies, you may want to make it a little bit smaller. Maybe it's just something a little bit small. However, that is your basic, but then you get your advance, and then bam, you can make something like this. Remember as well, you're also going to get your hook and loops within it as well. Now, if you're doing this, you're going to need some cardstock. 100 sheets, look at this, some amazing colours. Now, you've got your white rose, you've got your rose, you might have told me how you're Johnny, I've lost my, you've got black, I can do black, gold, you got blue,
ivory,
white gold, pale gold, solar gold, rose gold, copper, and silver. I've lost my sheet, I don't know where it's gone, with all my information on. $29.99, $49.99. You're saving yourself 25%, which is incredible. So basically, you get a couple of those couple of packs absolutely free. Remember, your Club Inspired discount applies to that as well at $23.99, $39.99. Rosalind saying, hello everyone, nice to see the Mixed Media Queen Jan. And Mary Ann on Facebook, good morning from rainy Georgia. Is there a song about rainy Georgia?
rainy Georgia.
Yeah.
I don't know.
With the rain down in Georgia. No, I don't know. There is now. Copyright George Akid.
Just made it up. Yeah.
Anyway, back at the ranch.
Right. So, I hope you're all still with me. I managed to get mine done at that point. All right, so I've got my 4 little sets there, of 4 in each one, which is enough to do all 4 of the boxes. So, again, choices now. We're going to stick these on and get these put, because we're going to end up with lots of bits of paper. So I'm going to stick them as we go this time, so that we've not got too many pieces lying around and wondering which bit's which. So, again, it's up to you how you stick these on. And that might sound silly, but I sort of looked at the basis that I was going to add some extra decoration to the front here. So I've gone for one of the very sort of plain pieces at the front because it's going to be covered up.
Yeah.
As opposed to, I've got a section here that's got some really nice patterning in. So I've popped that on one of the sides that's going to be seen, and you can see there at the back, I've got that detail where it's going to be seen. Now, it's not necessary, you know, nobody's really going to pay that much attention, but you know, Jan's OCD has to do it right. So again, have a think about, you know, the placement, excuse me. But what we're going to do, I'm going to go with my Kalal all-purpose glue this time. Nice and easy. It helps to strengthen the boxes when it's set, because it sets rigid. And also it gives you that time to just wriggle that into place and get that border nice and straight round it. If you're not a lover of wet glue, then I would be tempted to go with your tape pen. All right, all the way around the edge, and make sure you've got a nice seal on it. Of course, there are things like your finger lift tape if you prefer it, whatever your choice is of glue to get these in place. So I'm literally just going to take 4 of them, and these are going to go on those side panels.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got, and again, just worth bearing in mind, again, let me just pop that down for a second, that when this is made, if you have a paper that's directional, think about which way up your side's going to be. So this part's going to be the top. So if you've got a paper that's got some kind of design on it, you want to make sure that when you're looking at the box, it's the right way up. So just bear that in mind. Mine's not really a directional paper, so I don't need to worry about that. I'm just going to go for mine and get them stuck on. So like I said, with the Kalal, you've got time there to just wriggle it into place and get that one stuck down. And then I'm going to go with one of those nice patterned ones on the back. So the back of the box is the piece that's underneath the lid. So this piece here. So again, I'm just going to pop these into those panels, and you should find out that you've got about 1/8 of an inch border on the white card all the way around to frame that one. And then again, you know, whichever pieces you decide, it doesn't have to be thought through to the same extent. It's just that I thought, well, I've got some nice patterns going on here, so there's no point in covering them up when I'm going to do some extra work on that front panel of the box.
Yeah.
So again, pop that one in, and then I've literally just grabbed one from each pile there, the where it's worked out. It's however you want to put them together. And again, I'm just going to pop those on like so. So you're going to end up with 4 of them done the same. So this was the one that we started with, all right, which I'd folded. You can fold it first if you wish. I find when you pop the folds in first, you can see the edges better as to where that panel's going to fit. And then I'm literally just going to pop this to one side to dry, and I'm going to repeat 3 times. So first job was to pop those folds in and get the burnishing done. Second job, to stick those panels on the side.
Yeah.
So I'm going to work my way through, George. As I say, there is a bit of repetition in this particular project today. So I'm literally just going to work my way through the next 3 boxes doing what I've done here.
Well, I've
just
got
stay
a really...
and watch, or you can,
Well,
I
I've
can
just
flick
got
back.
a comment. What she's just got me a little bit excited.
Ooh.
Sarah Brown on Facebook over in Australia. Jan was the first craft expert I met over a year ago on Monday Makers as a craft ambassador.
Yes, she did.
With
yes.
Joe, and it was the most fun I have ever had.
Bless you.
And she went,
Sarah's, she's an avid watcher.
well, guess who's back next Monday?
Is she?
She's back, and I was checking.
Brilliant.
It's me. I'm on with you next
You're
Monday.
going to get to meet
Yes,
her.
I get to meet
She's
Sarah
a lovely
Brown.
lady, yeah.
I'm very excited. Never a frown with Sarah Brown. Evelyn Kiefer on Facebook. These boxes are a lot of fun to make. Lorna Jane Hunter on YouTube. Question, Jan, are you doing the craft along next week?
I'm not, no.
What?
No, I don't know who's in next week. I've done 2 consecutive ones, haven't I? Because I was here last week on Tuesday with a craft along. But I'm not sure who's got next week's one. We can find out.
We'll find out. Mary Reno said hello from Maine, everyone. Typing with one finger today. Got a bad spider bite on my hand and it's badly swollen.
Oh, that sounds nasty.
Always something seeing Dr. Late. It's Debbie Robinson next Wednesday. I love how Charlotte just jumped to life. So Charlotte, director Charlotte, who is working very hard. She's been here all day, bless her. Followed her Instagram, Astrid Artwork, guys. I've got to plug it apparently. She is terrified of spiders, right? Like, terrified. And a few months ago, I'd been working up here and I'd driven home, drove all the way home. This is me driving, brum brum, I'm in my car. Got home and Charlotte FaceTimes me, right? And Charlotte, I was okay, randomly answered it. She went, can you please come and get this spider out of my house, right? And I was like, I'm back home now, Charlotte. I'm in the northeast. You were terrified, weren't you, Charlotte?
Oh, bless.
No, it wasn't a tarantula, Charlotte. It was a spider.
My daughter's partner popped a photo on a couple of weeks back. He was in the garage at home, sorting through some stuff in the garage, and he popped a post on a picture of a beast of a spider. Honestly, I'm not keen on them. I can cope with them to a certain extent because I had to when I was in school, because the children don't want to see the teacher running out screaming, you know. So, yeah, you had to sort of get your big girl pants on and deal with them. So I can tolerate them to a certain size, but this one was a proper, and when we actually Googled it and had a look at what it was, because it was quite distinctive, I can't remember the actual proper name for it, but it was a better version of the Black Widow. It wasn't as poisonous as it said that it could give a nasty bite, and it was something about I can't remember the name for it, but yeah, it was an evil looking thing. An evil looking thing. I says to him, I hope you got rid of it. He says, I certainly did. He says, it came at me. He says, so that where it went.
If you are scared of spiders, welcome to Crafty's TV, where you're here to get you over your fears.
Oh dear.
I've always had a great idea for a kid's book about insects who have things. So basically, you may have a spider with a leg missing, but it's like a book for kids, and all the friends are like, they encourage him, even though he's got one leg missing, and he's not like the other spiders who have got 8 legs. He's only got 7 legs, and they help each other. Yeah, or a ladybird, and they've got no spots, and all his ladybird friends have got spots.
That's a nice idea, that, George. Yeah, my
Don't steal my idea,
My daughter's a writer.
Is she?
I should put you in touch. Yeah.
Just saying.
Yes.
And they're like I don't know what we call them, like they're like the insect friends or something.
Yeah.
And they've all got something like about me. Oh, Charlotte can illustrate it.
Yes.
Sorted. Yeah. And they're
team effort.
They're little buddies, but they've all, I'm trying to think. There might be
just trying to think. Yeah.
Like other things, like a daddy long legs, and he hasn't got very long legs, and he's got very short.
He's only got short legs.
Or like a centipede, and he can't tie.
I love it.
Yeah. Copyright George Akid, 2022. Don't steal my ideas. Or a moth.
Brilliant, yeah.
Or a butterfly. He's a caterpillar, and all his friends are becoming butterflies, but he's not become a caterpillar yet, and he's the last person to become a butterfly.
Oh, I love it, George. I think there's actually a good idea there.
We could do a range of crafting products.
We need to think of a name for that as a little series, don't we?
Friends.
Each book could have focus on a different creature.
And how their daily struggles of being an insect.
Oh. Do you know, it's sort of that's my mind jumps all over the place because I am a big lover. We've got over in the UK currently, we've actually got the Dancing on Ice show on TV, which I love. I've watched it right from the very beginning, from the first show, and I watch every season. But there's actually a young lady on there this year that's a Paralympian.
Yeah.
She's an amputee. She has the lower part of her right leg amputated, and they've designed a prosthetic for her with a special blade on the bottom, which is an ice skate. And my goodness,
oh yes,
you should see her go on the ice. And I just think the inspiration there for other people that are in similar circumstances, you know, that may have not got to terms with it yet. I just think what she hasn't done on that ice is unbelievable.
Crazy,
it gives me goosebumps every time I watch her. Yeah, really, really good.
We've started talking about spiders now. Caitlin's on the social. She went, I can't deal with spiders, even tiny ones, not for me. Thing is, Caitlin, you're only like this big yourself. You're only like 3 foot.
Oh, bless
so
her.
like a small spider for Caitlin's like a giant spider, isn't it? Like, thinking like that. Like Sarah Brown, oh, Jaron, George and Charlotte, be grateful you're not here in Australia.
I can imagine.
She hates spiders herself. Mary Pat on YouTube, I experienced a spider last night that was much quicker than me. Every time I grab a shoe, he would disappear. Never did get him.
That's the worst when they disappear, isn't it? You think it's sat somewhere looking at me with its little beady eyes and you don't know where.
Just do what Charlotte said. Did you say burn the house or sell your house? So Charlotte's just like sell the house.
It's the worst when you find them in the bedroom and they do that and they hide and you think you just know that it's going to come back in the night and get you, don't you?
Desert Dweller on YouTube. We have big poisonous spiders in Arizona. And Caitlin went, oh wow, thanks George. I mean it, it's a joke. It's a joke, Caitlin. It's a joke, all right? Get off your high horse. Joking, it wouldn't be a high horse, it would be a small little pup.
Oh, I should stop there if I were you, George.
Full of them today. Right, what have we done now, George?
Bless you. Right, I've got all my 4 layers done. I just want to make sure, we'll just have a shout out, George, because obviously everybody works at different speeds. Make sure that we're up to date. So I've done all 4 of mine, and I've added those little panels that we cut onto the 4 side pieces. So I just want to make sure that everybody's with us, George, before we go on to the next bit.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's check in with Jenny, who's our craft alongerer today. Jenny, how are you today? I was just saying beforehand, Jenny, when you... there she is, I can see her. She's all ready. Jenny, how are we crafting along? Are we getting along there?
I'm doing great. I'm using craft paper.
Oh, my favourite. I love the craft card.
Very nice. There's a lot of love for your hair today. A lot of love for the hair. If you were to base it upon a shade of a Spectra Noir pen, what shade of pen would you go for? Oh,
I know which one I would pick.
I'm going to say Crafter's Purple.
Crafter's Purple, you see. She's very good. Have you got a new... Right, Johnny's been nosying, and he says, have you got a new craft room?
I'm working on it. Yeah,
You're
I rearranged it, and I'm waiting on my Crafter's Companion Instant Desk.
Yes.
It was supposed to be here yesterday, and I was going to have it all set up, but it's coming today. So
I know,
I'm in the
it's
corner of it.
Deliveries and everything at the minute. It's just a nightmare, aren't they just? Jenny, you are looking great. I can't wait to see when the craft room is set up, and I'm going to be going shortly, but I'll keep tuning in to see what you make a little bit later on. Joe's going to be here. He's getting both of us today, me and Joe.
Who's
spoiled
today?
Your favourite? Who's your favourite, Jenny?
Oh...
Brilliant. Right, great, thanks. Nice fun. Forget it, Jenny. Fine, forget it. Over there. Now
you asked.
Get her off, Charlotte. I'm joking, Jenny. I love you, really. Right, we...
Yep. Are we good to go?
I'm fine, yeah, before I have a moment.
He needs a moment. He's come over all upset, bless him. Right, so next bit then, what we're going to do now is we're going to start and create the matte hand layer that goes on the top. So we only need 4 of these this time. So we're going to do a plain matte layer and then a paper layer to go on the top of it. And then we're going to die cut these elements to make the little details. So first of all then, I've taken I asked you to bring 2 pieces of plain cardstock. So this is not the Centura Pearl, leave that to one side. This is whatever you've chosen as your plain. And I've just got a slightly textured one here from one of the collections that match that paper beautifully. And what we need to do then, we need to create, and again I've popped it down for those of you that like to do the screenshots, we need to create 4 mats that are 2 3/4 inches square. So that's going to be the plain ones. Yep. So at the background here we've come down from our 3 inches 1/4 of an inch to 2 3/4, and we're going to make 4 of those plain mats out of that plain cardstock. And then I need another 4 of the layers in paper, come down that 1/4 of an inch again at 2.5 inches square. So the mat's out of the plane, and then I'm going to cut into my next sheet of card because I want to work on this this turquoise area. I've now created quite a few pieces of this. Next project I'm going to have to pick the lilac tones because I've got lots of these pieces left over now. But I'm going to cut into my next sheet here and create those squares. So for the first ones, the mat layers, 2 lots of 2 3/4 is 5.5. So I know I can get that. I can get 2 out of my width here.
Yep.
So I'm literally going to cut them on the long side at 2 3/4 inches. So I've got one piece. No, Jan, that's 3 3/4. I thought that looked a bit long. 2 3/4 inches, and take that whole section off. And then I'm going to repeat that at 2 3/4 inches again. Okay, pop all the pieces back on your pile so that we've got those to come back to because we will need some more later. And then once you turn this long ways, you could then create the 2 3/4 inch squares. All right, so again, just line them up, and we're going to go with 1, 2. Now, was that what? I think this came up a little tiny bit short, the piece that's left. So we'll use that for something else later. So I'm going to cut the other 2 out of that next strip. So 2 3/4 and 2 3/4. Okay. So make sure you've got the square ones and not the little bits that were left. I'm going to pop those to one side. So that's my 4 mat layers. And then I'm going to come into that piece of 12 by 12 paper.
Yeah.
Now again, we said we could get 4 lots of 2 3/4 out of the width of it. So what I'm actually going to do then is I'm just going to take a sliver off the bottom here to get rid of this pinky sort of section because I want to work mainly with the turquoisey layer.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take that piece off out of the way, and then I'm going to cut into that lovely turquoise piece now at 2 3/4 inches again. No, sorry, 2.5 inches because this was 2 3/4. So we're coming down that 1/4 of an inch, and we're coming to 2.5 inches this time. So if I take that whole strip off there at 2.5, pop that back with the rest of my papers so that I've got that to play with in a second. And then this one, I know that I can get, so I know that 2 lots of 2.5 is 5. And then cut that one in half, gives me 2 pieces. And then again, I can take this one in at 5 inches. And then cut it in half at 2.5. So I've now got my 4 sections for the top there.
Marvellous.
Again, pop that to one side. So literally I've created 4 matten layers, and that's all we mean by a matten layer. If you're new to crafting, it's a term that we use a lot. And I tend to work in 1/4 of an inch increments the majority of the time. Occasionally I'll leave slightly larger borders, but most of the time I'll come down 1/4 of an inch. So because our little boxes measured 3 inches, we then came down 1/4 of an inch to 2 3/4 square, and then we came down 1/4 of an inch again to 2.5 inches, and you just get that nice little border around the outside there. So 4 times for each, and then very, very quickly again, if you're on the inking train with me, we're just going to go round those 4 pieces quickly. And I haven't put any extra ink on my sponge applicator. I'm just using what's in there from the last set of inking. It doesn't need to be anything definite. It's just a suggestion.
Yeah.
And it sort of closes that shape for me and sort of draws the eye in. And it also makes it stand out. If I show you the plain one here against the cardstock, it looks fine. And you might be happy with that. Absolutely fine. Don't think you have to do this stage. But then when you pop the ink around it, it lifts it from that matte layer and just frames it a bit more. To me, that's really pleasing, and I have to do this. So I apologise. If you think this is not necessary, don't go down that route. Because once you get on that train, it's hard to get off again. So yeah, all 4 pieces. It takes seconds, it really does. And like I say, I haven't even re-inked the tool. I've just used the ink that was already sat in there.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to stick with my collal glue, stick with it, excuse the pun. And I'm going to pop the paper layer on the top of that plain matte layer. And again, by using the wet glue, you've got a chance to pop it down and then literally just wriggle it into place so that you've got a nice even border. Okay, and then leave it to dry.
Sam
And
McDonald's
then-
on Facebook just made me chuckle. You know the cones that you put on a dog's head? What do you call it?
Just a cone.
A cone.
Ours is the cone of doom because they hate it.
Cone of shame. That's
The
what
cone
she's-
of shame, yeah.
She had to
My
feed the
dog
dog.
hates it. She had to have it when she'd had a little operation,
Yeah.
and honestly hated every minute of it. We actually swapped it because it was stressing her out, and we've got it's like if you imagine an inflatable ring that a child would wear in a swimming pool. It's like that, but it has a gap in it.
Right.
So you blow it up soft,
Yeah.
and then the gap goes round her, and she's got like this big inflatable ring round her neck, which is actually, for her, a little bit less stressful than the cone of doom or the cone of shame. Yeah, she just used to get stuck in the door with it and bang into
She just
everything.
said she had to feed the dog, and then the cone of shame had to go back on operation on Monday. So I was chuckling because the cone of shame made me chuckle.
Yeah.
Bless her.
So once we've got that matte and layer together, I'm going on the back of the plain layer now with that same Collal all-purpose glue. And then I'm going to go on the box lid. Now I've got this facing me because when we put this together, my openings on my boxes are going to face outwards. So again, if it's anything that's got any direction, I've got a little bit of wording on here now. I want to make sure that I can read that. Or if you've got a paper that's got a directional pattern in, from this tab side. So this is going to be the front edge of the box, so make sure that that direction's going in the right way. So all I did was turn my box with that piece facing me, and then I've stuck that panel on top. And then again, repetition, I want you to do exactly the same with the other 3 sets and get those top layers on your other 3 boxes.
Perfect.
Okay, so I'm
Lovely.
just going to carry on with that,
Yeah,
George.
absolutely. Mary Reno on YouTube saying this is so pretty. Guys, loads of love cutting for this. Remember, you can come back and watch this show as many times as you wish. Head to the website, crafterscompanion.com.co.uk. We're about halfway there now. Don't forget that Keith is going to be here from Paper Dienamics very, very shortly, about an hour's time. And we've got great deals on those. So much love for Keith today. We're going to take a short break. We'll see you back here shortly.
Welcome to Club Inspire, the Crafters Companion community where you can feed your crafty obsession. Join our fantastic loyalty club today and receive 20% off your first order. We'll also give you 250 points to help get you started. Other benefits of joining Club Inspire include exclusive special offers and discounts for Club Inspire members only, exclusive sneak peek previews of brand new product launches, and of course the Club Inspire community group on Facebook, where you can access exclusive content such as downloads, offers and inspiration, and of course you can chat and share your makes with other members. You'll receive 1 point for every £1, dollar or euro you spend, and the more points you receive, the more benefits you'll unlock. So what are you waiting for? Sign up, join the club and start rewarding yourself today.
Quick Buy, all your crafting must-haves in a flash. Draw, decorate, and customize your world with the colorful Spectrum Noir acrylic paint markers. Each premium paint marker gives opaque coverage on ceramic, glass, wood, and let's not forget paper, cardstock, and canvas. These versatile markers are filled with highly pigmented premium water-based paint, offering beautiful, rich, and smooth coverage. The colors can be blended together, and the fast-drying opaque paint is ideal for layering. A 3mm bullet tip offers smooth strokes, and a precision valve mechanism allows rich and consistent flow with no clogging. Quick Buy, all your crafting must-haves in a flash. Welcome to Crafters TV. With more than 35 hours of live shows each week, it's your home for all things craft. We shine the spotlight on new and innovative crafting products with live tutorials and demonstrations. Join our family of craft experts where fun happens every day.
Quiet. The neighbours.
I'm all out of Zoom. I'm so lost without you. I'm not singing.
Lisa, if you email in, don't send a picture of your air fryer. Make sure it's something creative.
Get creative and craft along With our amazing deals, your next craft project is just a click away. Tune in live 7 days a week, or you can watch us on Catch Up at crafterscompanion.com, Facebook, or our YouTube channels. You can chat to us, craft along, and meet new friends by joining our online crafting community.
You entertain us. You give us a community to talk, in the chat. That wouldn't happen without you guys. It's like Crafters Companion is magical. There's magic here.
Joy, there's not a dry eye in the studio here. Debbie's welling up, I'm welling up.
There's a show for every type of crafter, from first-time dabblers to full-time makers. Crafters TV. Create every day.
Oh yes, welcome back to your Craft Along here on Crafters TV, brought to you by Crafters Companion. Happy Hump Day, wherever you are in the world, unless you're in Australia, where it's Thursday, so happy Thursday. Right, we are taking a closer look at your wonderful large giant stamp folder, where you're getting the 2 magnetic panels in here. Remember, that beautiful Crafters Companion purple. Why? Because it's all purple. You've also got the wonderful tag on the handle as well, so if you want to be organised, be the most organised crafter you can be, you can put exactly what is inside your storage folder. Again, it's got that Crafters Companion logo and that wonderful zip. And when you open it up, well, there you are with your 2 wonderful panels inside. Double-sided as well, remember, so you can put your, you got your magnet one side, and then, Jan, correct me if I'm wrong, but that stamp, you can put your stamps on that side, can't you?
Yes, you could, yeah.
Absolutely. Yep. So you've got that option there as well. And so you've got dies and stamps which correspond together.
Yep.
Perfect. And you've got these 2 large pockets, 3 large pockets there. Perfect for your ink pads. Pocket. You're going to save yourself over 20% on that, and you're getting 2 packs of those magnetic panels. You're getting 1 pack of the panels for free. £26.98, $34.94. This is going to take these wonderful dies as well from this incredible collection. It's perfect for those larger ones. Loads of love coming in for this craft along. £21.58 on your Club Inspire, $27.95. Remember, if you have just joined us and going, what on earth is happening? Do not fear. Wonderful Jan is here. You see, that was a pure accident with this wonderful craft along. Don't forget, you can save this show into your playlist on YouTube and come back and watch it as many times as you like. And maybe, don't fear, don't rush. We're here to help you. Joe's going to be coming in very, very shortly. So if you've got any questions or anything you need answering during the craft along, please comment below. Caitlin's on the socials. Jan, what are we going to do next?
Right, okay, so my aim was to try and get the boxes done in the first hour, and I can just see that we're sort of a minute and a bit left, which is not going to happen. So what I want to get across this afternoon is the structure of the box. So the decorating side of it is fairly straightforward, and I have to talk you through that for homework at the end. Then we'll do that, because I've got a little bit of decoration on the front here. And again, if I just show you the die set, it's all done beautifully. So I've just used the little stitched edge rectangle, and you can see there that that's the perfect size for that little piece. And then you've got a lovely decorative element, which I've done in the mirror card. And I've done 4 of those to go on the front of the boxes, so that when it goes together, you've got that lovely decoration showing as a feature when you open up your box and take the lid off. Now, if there's time, we'll come back to those, but I want to concentrate on the actual structure of the box and getting that done as a demo for you. And then the top section here, again, you've got a stitched edge scalloped circle, and you've got that lovely heart. So again, I've gone with some of the matching plain cardstock that we did with a matte layer with, and then that lovely mirror card there, the blue, for those lovely hearts. Yeah. And that's all they are, literally cut, and I've kept everything flat. Don't be tempted to get the foam pads out for this one, purely because when this folds together, these boxes actually touch each other at the sides there. You can see how it all comes together. So if you've got a lot of foam pads in there, it's going to sort of start and spread this out, which means that your lid won't fit on nicely. So everything, all the work that's done inside this, keep it nice and flat. So what I want to do now then is go on to this piece that's the base, the structure, the actual box. Yeah. All right, and show you how that's done. So again, going back to the instructions, it brings in that template this time. So let me just pop those dies back on there so that I don't lose them. And I'm going to bring in those 2 template pieces here. So you can see we've got the instructions going on. So it says, using your lid template, simply draw around this and cut it out. So we're going to do that in a second. And then these ones, the rest of them, these are going to be the side panels that the boxes are stuck to here. So you can see that the glue tab is the word I'm looking for, sticks underneath here, and then you've got the panel piece that forms the side of the box like so. All right, so again, it suggests that you cut round them, and actually where the dots are is going to be your score line. Now what I did, because this is a fairly straightforward piece to me, is I measured it, and it literally measured 5 inches by 3 3/4. All right, so let me get that scrap. So I've got 5 inches by 3 3/4, and it was scored at 3/4 of an inch. Score at 3/4. So you have a choice of either drawing round this onto one of your pieces. You'll need the other couple of sheets here. So you might want to take this and draw around it onto your piece. What I did for this, I thought, right, fair enough, that's okay. But if I've just got a piece of cardstock that measures 5 inches by 3 3/4, I can just cut them out in pieces, which is what I did. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for the 5 inches in depth on the short side of one of my pieces of stamping card. Okay, let me just think. I'm going to go that way. 5 inches. Yeah, 3 3/4. What I'm working out is I know that I'm going to cut this first because I need a 5-inch square. So let me just cut this first off the bottom. I want you to cut a 5-inch square, and I'll come back to that in a second, so that I know that I've got enough card left to do the other pieces. So 5 inches by 5 inches, and that's going to be the base of the box, okay? And then what's left, I can cut into those panels. So yeah, I've got enough to do then. 3, 6, 7, yeah. So I'm going to do 5 inches in height again. And then this way, I've got just over 8 inches, if I bring this down a bit. So I know that I can fit my 3 3/4 into there twice. So it's just about thinking about your cardstock and how it's going to cut, so that you don't end up cutting into too many pieces. So this is exactly the same now as here, other than the curved corner. All right, so I've got 2 pieces there, and I need another 2 of those. So again, I'm going to do my last sheet of card there at 5 inches. Okay. And then I'm going to turn it round and cut it at 3 3/4. So I'll go over this one again for you. If you're using the stencil, you're just going to draw around it 4 times onto your pieces of white cardstock, and then cut it out with your scissors. I just thought, with them being straight edges like that, it just, to me, I like the guillotine. So all I've done now is got 4 pieces that are the same size as my stencil. And then if you want the curved edges, so just to remind you for this piece then that we've cut 5 inches across, all right, by 3 3/4 tall, yeah. And then we're going to score it along that long side at 3/4 of an inch, all right, which you would have to do if you'd done this one anyway, because you just mark inside the little dotted lines, and that's going to be your score line. So I'm going to fetch the scoreboard up and do that first. So literally take your scoreboard and work on the long sides of your piece of card. So I'm going to put that piece in up to the left-hand side, all right, and I'm going to score it at 3/4 of an inch. So that's 6 marks along my track, okay, and I'm going to do the same on all 4 pieces. 3/4 of an inch, so 6 of the little marks along your scoreboard, and do that 4 times. So like I said, there's a lot of repetitive skill with this one, which I think is good because it reinforces, you know, what you're doing each time. Okay, so again, pop that to one side, and then we've got a choice then as to whether we want to trace around here. So you can line all this up nice and straight and trace around the curve and cut it off. But to be honest, I know this is going underneath. So I'm literally, like I normally do, is just take off those little notches off each corner. Now, to me, that was quicker than using the template. Okay?
Fabulous.
I don't know what's going off. Now, there's some chuckling going on in my ear.
Swapped. I know what you're thinking. Gosh, George just got very handsome in the pit there when he comes back. There you are. There I am. Hello. He's still here. Just having a little rest. How are you, Jan? How's your craft along going?
I am good, thank you, Joe. It's nice to be back together again. The two J's.
Yes, indeed.
Not that I'm sad that our George has had to move.
Everyone's
It's all this
been
swapping Ethan out, isn't it?
Sad Jenny wants Joe and Steph going. That's
Oh, bless
making drinks.
you. I didn't say
I
that.
love you really, Jan.
I didn't say that. I like working with all you guys, you know that.
He's gone. He walked straight out the front
He's
door.
gone. That's it. Off he goes. Bye. See you, George.
Gone.
So you can see here now that I've got those 4 panels, and this one's got a curved corner on it. Mine's got a straight edge on it. I'm not too worried about that because it's going to end up underneath the box completely. All right. So whichever way you chose to do it, if you chose to draw around your template and cut this out and score it, you need 4 of them, all right? And all I'm going to do then is literally just fold them on that score line. And again, as always, when we fold, you want to burnish that crease line in place. So I've folded it away from myself. I've got the score line on top of the card here and folding it away from there.
Is that important, Jan?
I get asked this a lot, and I don't know whether there is a right or wrong way, Joe, but in my mind it makes sense that the idea of scoring is to start breaking up the fibres in the card, ready to fold it and get that nice neat edge, because if you do this without a score line, you often get that cracking of the card and it looks a bit wobbly and not quite as professional. So scoring it to me on the top here is starting to work those fibres. So if you fold this in, you're then stretching the fibres on the other side.
Right.
Whereas if you start and fold it away from where you've worked, those fibres are already moving. Now, as I say, whether that's right, that's the way I've always done it, and I do prefer to do it that way. It doesn't make sense to me to go against the grain kind of thing.
Yeah.
Now, there are certain instances when you've got a piece, maybe like on a kinetic card, that's going to do a lot of movement, where I might score on both sides and fold it both ways, because you might have a piece that's literally going to be backwards and forwards, so it actually breaks the fibres on both sides of the card. But all mine are going the same way. All right, and then that 5-inch square piece that I asked you to cut is going to become the base of the box. All right, so we're literally going to stick these now with the glue tab underneath the bottom all the way around. And I did 2 sides first, like so, and then I popped the other 2 pieces in opposite. So you're going to create the box a little bit like when we do the exploding boxes. It's not connected at the sides. You've got those 4 pieces to allow it to fold flat with the boxes on. So all I'm going to do now then is I'm going to add some glue to the inside of the glue tab. So where we've folded it away from ourselves, I'm going to go on the inside and I'm going to add glue onto that glue tab on the inside there. All right, and then stick it with this piece up to the score line. Don't cover the score line. You want to still be able to get that 90-degree corner. If you go over the score line, you'll find that it won't close up properly. You get some resistance against it. So again, I'm going to stick with the collal because I've got that time to wriggle it about and get it into place.
Sandra asked if you could use a corner rounder to...
Absolutely, absolutely. If you've got one of those in your kit, yeah, that will work. But as I say, you don't actually see this bit, so it's not the end of the earth, you know, if you've done it with a pair of scissors. So again, my 5-inch square piece, my side panel that I've cut with the glue on the inside, and I'm just going to lay this inside and pop it right up to that score line, but I still want to be able to see the score line in there. And then if there is any little bit of glue comes out of there, the collal just wipes away nicely. And then not too much with it until that glue's had a chance to set. Okay, and then I'm going to do exactly the same at the opposite side. So again, glue on that where I've got this folded in here, and putting the glue on the inside part.
Brilliant. Any questions if anyone's got as well, get them into me. Crafters TV on Facebook, Crafters Companion on YouTube. I mean, you're not going to have any questions. Jan is, you know, the head mistress of the craft alongs. Every single meticulous detail is covered. But if, you know, there is, by some miracle,
by all means, ask away. Yeah, that's what we're here for.
I will not hold my breath.
And the reason I've stuck these, I just want to explain why I've gone underneath that base square and not on top, is because you can see where we're heading with this. This is the piece that we're going to stick our boxes to. So if you'd have stuck these on the inside, you're creating bulk around here. And again, when we talked about folding up all the boxes, it's going to start and force it into a position that's not quite straight because you've got extra layers of cardstock. So I've actually gone for underneath this base piece, and that if you wanted to pop another piece of card over the top, you can, but I didn't mind those underneath there at all. So again, I've done that opposite side right up to the score line. Make sure that your edges match here nice and neat. And then let that do its job. Let that glue do its job. The beauty of the collal there, where I've got a little bit seeping out there, it just rubs away nicely. And then once you're happy that this is in the right place, you can fold that one down now and that was the first one that I did. Give it a good burnish so that you've got that nice 90-degree angle going on there with the box side. And then same, once this one's had a chance to just settle, fold it all the way over, make sure that it folds up nice and straight, and then burnish that side, and that's that piece down that you've stuck. So we've got the first two sections, and then we're going to do exactly the same on the other two sides. So again, turn it around, pop that glue on the inside here. Okay. Now you may be using your tape pen for this, you may be using finger lift tape, whatever your glue of choice is will work on here. I just like the fact that I've got that little bit of time to manoeuvre everything into place here with the wet glue. So again, you're going to bring this, and this is going to overlap the ones that you've already stuck down on the bottom. You can see here where the corners are overlapping. But again, just up to that score line and making sure that these edges run as straight as possible. Okay, and again, leave it, don't fold it straight away, because it'll if you've used a wet glue, it'll just pull the tab away slightly until it's had a chance to grab. So I'm going to do the opposite side, exactly the same. And again, that's going to go under this side, so I'm going over the top of the pieces that I've already done. I'm going to pop it up to that score line again. And just make sure that I've got a nice line running here, and that it's not offset. Leave that one to do its job. This one should be dry enough now to fold and burnish into place. And then spin it all the way around, and then that one folded in. And when you fold them in, this should fold inside the parameters of that other side that you're working against. So we've got those four pieces. As I say, a little bit like when we make the exploding boxes where they all fall apart. But when we put them together, you're going to have the right size there. When we actually make the lid section next, this is going to go over the top and secure it all into place as if it was an actual box. All right, so that's where we're aiming for. So a bit of decoration to do on the bottom, and then we'll come on to the lid. So just want to make sure everybody's got to that bit, Joe, and then we'll carry on with the matting and layering, yeah?
Brilliant. Right, well, I know a lot of you are probably thinking out there, gosh, I really need to give this craft along a go. Well, if you don't yet have your hands on the items, then it's not too late, because we've been able to repeat the launch offer for you. So let me take you through what you're actually going to get. So you're going to get the 3 different styles of boxes in here. So this one is the roll-up treat box that you've got, which is this one just here. I believe that is your roll-up treat box. Then you've also got this next one. You're going to get all 3 in here for this price. This is your prism treat box that you've got just here. So you've got that style there, and you will also get the picnic treat box too, and the template that you need to put them together. I'll just show you a couple of the other ones that are here, because they do make 3 incredibly unique styles of boxes. This is one Jan is obviously working on at the moment. I'll put that back together in a sec. And then we've also got this one just here, which I think is utterly fabulous. I love the way that this all comes apart. So really, really cool, very unique, really different. $89.99, $101.95 is your price on those if you want to snap them up. And remember, you'll be able to come back and watch this back any time you like, which is wonderful. Wherever you're watching it now, across on our website also. Scrap Paper Scissors has just messaged and says, hello Joe, what state is round on both ends and is high in the middle? Ohio!
Round on both
Talking
ends.
about Ohio,
I love it.
Mrs. Ohio herself is in the building. Jenny's here. How are you, Jenny? So lovely to see you.
I'm good, thank you. It's good to see you too.
Ah, really lovely. And the hair, as always, looking fabulous, may I say.
Thank you.
How's that craft along coming along?
Good. I've already done some of the decoration that she said to wait till later.
Oh, fantastic. I love it. Yep,
Jumping the
brilliant.
gun, I love it.
Yep.
It's looking fabulous. Has it been quite simple to put together, Jenny?
Oh yeah, very. I really like these dies. They're great.
Amazing. Right, I'm not going to distract you for too long. I'll drop back in on you again very, very shortly. Loving the top as well, Jenny. Loving the top. Any questions that you've got, get them into me. Crafters TV. Oh, bless you, Keith. Crafters TV on Facebook. Crafters Companion over on YouTube. Keith's coming up in about 45 minutes' time, which is always sure to be some lulls. Rosalind says, hi, everyone. So glad to see Joe. We don't see you enough. Well, I'm here now. Lovely to be back with you. Lots of you tuning in and saying hi to me as well. Arena, Gilmore, Pam, Sherry. Hi. Right. We're going straight back to the headmistress herself to crack on with this craft along.
Right, so I'm going to decorate parts of this now. So on the outside of the box, I actually did a paper layer, or I did a matte and a paper layer. If I just show you the outside panel there, you can see we've got a plain matte layer and a paper layer, which I'll come to in a second. But on the inside, I'm going to cut a square that goes on the base here. And because we worked with a 5-inch square, coming down that 1/4 inch again, we need a 4 3/4 inch piece of paper. And then on the sides this time, it's slightly different. Because we're going to stick our 3-inch square box onto the side, we just need a little panel to fill in the gap here. And these, funnily enough, are the same size as what we cut for the sides of the box. So you're going to need 4 of these, 1 for each side, and they measure that 2 3/4 inches wide by 1 3/4 inches tall. So I'm going to leave that on the desk so that you can see this here. All right, I'm going to bring my guillotine back in. And first of all, I'm going to cut that paper piece. So I want to have a look at the colours here. And I've got a nice piece. In fact, I think we'll go with that one there with some of the turquoise on. Just have a look at what you've got left. And I want to go at 4 3/4 inches square. And I've got a piece there that's got some, it has got a little bit of the lilac in, but it's also got the turquoise panel there as well. So 4 3/4, and this is going to fit nicely on that base there of your box, because that bit's going to be seen. And then the remaining pieces, we're back to those little sections again. So I'm going to do just like I did the first time. I'm going to take a strip off that measures 1 3/4 inches all the way along my piece of 12-inch paper. Okay. And then I know that I can get my 4 lots of 2 3/4 out of there. So again, I'm just going to cut this down now into sections that measure 2 3/4 all the way along there. 2 3/4. Now what I've just realised with mine is that there is some wording on here, and there is a slight orientation on the design, but I'm not too worried about it, so I can live with that. What I mean by that is that my wording's going across the width of my paper that I had here. You can see these here, but when we stick them onto the sides of the boxes, it will be upright, but I'm not too worried about that. So again, I'm just going to continue that theme and just spend a minute going around all those sides. Again, I've not even re-inked this up. It's been in the ink maybe once all the way through this process, but there's enough left on it just to ink those sides nice and quick all the way around. It doesn't have to be anything fancy for this. It's literally just framing that piece of paper. And then I'm going to do the same around that inside square, which we cut at 4 3/4 inches. So that one as well.
I apologise if you can hear me sniffling away over here, Jan. I think everyone's got the sniffles this week, haven't they?
I think it's a little bit of spring fever on its way, Joe.
I think it must be like National Sniffles Week in the
It's
UK.
like some of the trees and the flowers are starting to pop their heads out, aren't they? I think there's a bit of pollen going on out there.
I think we're blaming John, apparently. He was king of the sniffles first, apparently.
Oh. So I'm going to put the 4 smaller pieces to one side for a second. Okay, and I'm going to take that square that we cut at 4 3/4 inches. I've used the same Collal glue all the way through. This is our all-purpose solvent glue, which is great for sticking paper. You'll notice if you're using this that there's no wrinkling whatsoever in these layers because there's no water content in that glue. It's also got that sort of time for you to manoeuvre into place. And when it sets really rigid. It's almost like having another piece of cardstock in there. So if you're making anything that's construction based, it gives it that rigidity sort of to add to the structure. So from there then, we're going to bring in the boxes now. So what I want to do with the boxes is just stick these together so that we can add them to our frame. So if you take one of your pieces, and again, this is up to you what you want to use, but we're going to add glue to the 4 little tabs that are left. So you've got the 2 at the front and the 2 here at the sides. Don't worry about these long ones at the edge. We don't want any glue on those at all. So just the 4 here. And again, you know, you can stay with that wet glue. I'm actually going to flip over to my tape runner for this one, just because it's a little bit more, the wet glue takes a while to set, and when you're actually sticking something that you want to stay together, obviously you want it to stick straight away.
Would you do this bit with wet glue at home? If you were making it
possibly, but if I was at home, I'd be just popping like a little peg on it or something to hold it together. So because we're wanting a nice instant stick with this, I'm just going to go with that double-sided tape, which is perfectly fine. It's a heavy enough weight for construction. So don't worry about, you know, is it going to do the job? It has been tested and tested and tested. Okay. And then literally, I'll start from the piece here that's away from the front. And all I'm going to do, just as if you were making a box, is fold those 2 tabs in and then create that 90-degree angle and make sure that the edge of your box sits nice and smoothly against this side here, and then just give it a little rub to get that tape in place, and then the same at this side. So again, line it up with that edge. It doesn't want to be sticking out. If you can feel it here, you've gone too far over. You just want to make a nice 90-degree angle there and make sure that it's all stuck down. And then what I like to do then, once I've got to that point, is just pop my bone folder in and give it a good press on the inside there, just to make sure that that glue's made contact. You don't want these to fall apart. And then we're going to do the same with the back piece. So fold the 2 glue tabs in, lift this up, and you can see again where that's going to meet perfectly. Give it a little rub, perfectly at that side. Just a little bit of pressure in there to make sure it's set, and then turn it on its side. And all I've done is gone in with my bone folder and just pressed on the inside of those little tabs there to make sure that everything's set in place. And then these 2 just fold inside, and that's what helps this stay together. Now I actually did mine this way for this project, so I've tucked my little edge inside the box. You can actually have them close on the outside if you wish. Now that's something to think about with the decoration, because if you're going to have the little tabs close on the outside, you maybe not want this piece, but in your kit, again, there are elements in here that you can decorate that little tab with as well. So there's a choice there as to whether you want to go inside the box or outside with the closure. And then that's where the little hook and loops come in, Joe. Yeah, we did. You get those in with the set of dies if you've purchased the dies, and you just put that little bit of hook and loop on the centre of your tab here, close it over. It'll stick in the right place underneath, and then just very gently separate them so that you've got that closure on the front. Now I actually went on the inside because I decorated this front section of my box, and you can see they all sit nicely in there. All right, so that's just something for you to think about when you're actually working with these. And then I'm going to do the one again to show you how this works, and then I'm going to do the rest of the three while you guys actually work along. So on your piece then, that's your base that we've just made, all right, you're going to pop your box with the opening towards the outside edge. And again, it doesn't matter whether you work on the left-hand side here or the right-hand side. The only thing I would say is that whatever you do on the first one, you must do the same on all of them. So for example, my sample that I did originally, all my boxes, when I actually turn this, are on the left-hand side of my piece here. So I've got a box, a piece of cardstock, a box, a layer, a box, a layer, and a box and a layer. Now it won't make any difference if you put your box at this side and your piece of layering at that side. It will still fold up the same. All it will mean is that this box has slightly moved over, this one's slightly moved over, and so on. It will still work. So it doesn't matter which way you do it. So I'm going to stick with the same route that I went down originally. So I'm actually going to stick it with the opening facing me, all right, so on the top edge here, and I'm going to stick it right up to the outside edge of the flap here and right up to the outside of that top edge. So again, that collal's perfect for this, purely because you've got time to move it about and wriggle it into place where you want it to be before it sets. You've got a good sort of at least a minute or so before this starts to cure and set. So I'm going to use this top corner here. If I pop it on the green, you can see a little bit better what I'm doing there. I'm going to use that top corner as a guideline and literally place my box down and make sure that this edge runs nice and smooth with the edge of your box. And then also here, that edge is going to run nice and smooth along this side as well. All right, you can see there that we've got a nice flush piece there. We've got a nice flush piece there, and it should be able to stand up onto that square in the middle. So it needs to make sure that it will actually allow that side to fold in, and then they will all do the same eventually. And then again, just give it time. Don't mess with it too much until that glue's had a chance to set. And then take one of your little pieces that we've cut, and again, whether you're using your tape runner or you're using a wet glue, you can see there, this one's just going to fit now in the gap with that little 1/8 of an inch border all the way round. Yep. And then I'm going to rotate it. I'm going to stick the next box together in the same manner, and I'm going to do the same process on all three sides. So again, I'm just going to carry on with that, Joe. Fabulous. Let our lovely customers carry on, and I'll throw back to you for a second. Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, I want to talk to you then about something else we've got on the show. This is, of course, the Gemini Pro, the biggest Gemini we have ever brought to you. It's an absolutely incredible piece of kit. Even though it's such a massive machine, it still does have that really amazing even pressure all the way through here. And we've got it on a brilliant deal for you today as well, as you can see. So it's a Pro machine that you've got 10% saving to, and things like the treat box. I mean, it makes such light work of doing those larger projects. There are some dies out there that are specifically designed for the Pro itself. But I think if you craft a lot, you're doing a lot of larger projects, you want to be able to cut everything in one pass. The platform that comes with it is 12 by 12. There is a larger platform as well, 12 by 18 off the top of my head.
Yeah, yeah.
12 by 18, the larger plates even there. So you really massive projects we're talking about being able to put through this machine. $404.10 is your price today. However, if you are a platinum member, $323.28 is what you will pay today. It is UK only. Maybe you've already got this and you're absolutely loving it, but you want to invest in some more plates. And we've got a 15% saving for you here on the plate bundle. So you get the 2 clear plastic plates and the plastic shim, and you'll get the bag free there, which is amazing. $35.98 if you want to grab a hold of that. Again, it is a UK only. Very busy on these treat boxes at the moment, and I can see why. They just make something so incredibly unique, and I know it's going to be one of those things that people are going to be asking you to make time and time again. 3 different styles of box with it in here. The other great thing as well is that they are so practical, as well as being a really fun gift to make and put together. So you've got the prism box, which is this one just here. Then you've got this one here. Let me share this with you. I think this is absolutely so cool. So that one there, that is your roll-up treat box that you can see. And again, that opens up. And then you've got all of these individual boxes here too, which is amazing. So I'm guessing with these ones, Jan, could you have them opening on the end as well as the side, if you wanted to?
Sorry, which ones are you on, Joe? I was busy sticking away.
Sorry?
I was busy sticking away over here.
With these ones, can we have them opening on the side or the end?
I think they're designed to go on the sides, but I think it would just be the way that you stick them to let the ends open, yeah.
I don't know if I'm being thick or this one doesn't open. I think I'm being a bit dense.
It should be on the inside, the opening, and it should be facing the back of the right angle. So if you pop the inside, where it folds together inside, it should open on the long edge. There you go.
I didn't take much. I look like a blooming Labrador. You should have seen me. I was still looking at it. I was like cocked head, like. Gosh. And then of course you've got this. This one's a bit more straightforward. I mean, they're all straightforward.
That's the one like we're making, Joe.
Yeah, it's the one style that we're making here today, which is a really substantial size box, which then opens out with those smaller boxes inside. A really fun way to present gifts and treats to people. But you will get all 3 for that price. They are available individually, I believe, but of course, the best way to get the rest, so you save $31.97 when you buy them all together in the UK, $35.85 if you are in the US. So definitely the best value comes in getting them together. And also you've got the ability to make smaller boxes as well, should you wish. So you can just make these up individually. This one's quite cute as well, the little basket that's been made using this. Again, I think that is cool, with the 2 little compartments in there. Oh, I'm seeing some beautiful little Belgian chocolate truffles or something packed away in there. I think it's going to be glorious. $71.99, $81.56 if you're a platinum member and you want to get a hold of them. Unsurprisingly, Jan, 0 questions in the comments about the craft.
Everybody's busy sticking everything down, aren't they? It's like doing everything 4 times on this one. So I'm just onto my last one here, onto my 4th one, and again I've just lined it all up, making sure that that opening's at the top there. Just check that it all works as far as the mechanism, and then I've got that last piece of paper, and that's the actual base part. All right. So that one's just going to stick on there with that border. And again, it's optional. You might not want to put this piece in, the little square that we just do it, the little piece here that we're just doing. You might want to add one of the decorations. There are so many elements in the metalwork here. You know, you've got another long one here. You've got the little circles here with the flower in. So many. These ones are actually cutting pieces to do if you wanted to not mat and layer and cut into the edge of the boxes. You've got one that's got an outside cutting edge to make a topper piece that goes on with that gorgeous. There's so many different pieces. There's like metal everywhere. It literally, and I thought, you know, this edge on this one, even though it's a slightly scalloped edge, so it's a great sort of postage stamp looking type piece there. So again, they all work beautifully together. You can take whatever element out of there and know that it's going to fit in the box. So I've actually got mine all together there, and that's what it should look like when you've got them all stuck down. So I've got box on the left, paper on the right, box on the left, paper on the right, all the way round. Okay. And then once that's set, these will all fold in nicely to fit together to create that lovely shape there. And then we're going to make the last section, which is going to be the lid that holds it all together. And it's a nice snug fit because you don't want it to sort of start falling apart. So again, I'm just going to, where are we? I've put the front on too far, that's it. So again, once they all fit it, you can see how it's nice and it's not going to fall off there. It holds it all in place. So the recipient would think that that is a lovely gift box. Nice little gift box. They might be expecting something bigger inside than there actually is, because when we take the lid off, you've got that lovely space inside where we've got the 4 individual boxes with something inside each one. So I think I was a little bit ambitious in all the decoration side of it, but the decorative parts are fairly straightforward. You can see all the elements on the die, and embellishing is quite a personal thing, so I'm not too worried. I will leave this one where, you know, so you can see what I've done on it. But I'm not too worried if we don't get all those extra pieces in. I want to work on the construction side of it. So saying that, I'm going to leave that one to dry, and I'm going to bring in the section to make the lid now as well. So we want that largest piece of template here. And I'm just looking to see whether I've got, have I got a piece left? I haven't, have I? Why is that? This is what I was talking about cutting earlier, the right pieces out of your card, because you need, no, that's why, Jan. That's why. We need a piece of nice Centura pearl for the lid. I was a bit worried there. I thought, what have I done wrong? If you remember, we made the lid out of the Centura pearl, just again to contrast. If you want to stay with the white stamping card, and Matt and Larry took the same as the other, you can. I just thought this was a nice contrast, and the Centura pearl's a nice weight for that lid as well. So again, this time, I tried the trick that we did with the sides where we measured the template, but because this is the lid, and anybody that makes boxes will understand what I'm saying here with the fact that that lid has to be slightly larger to go over the top of the box. So when we're making boxes with our scoreboards, we've got the beauty of working on one side for the lid and one side for the base. And that's nice and straightforward. So with this one having a template, I didn't want to risk just measuring and cutting because I don't want it to end up not fitting my actual piece that I've made. So what I did was lay it down on the back of my piece of Centura pearl, and I'm going to line up two edges with the corner of the card. All right, so I'm not too worried about that, and that just leaves me two sides to cut. And then literally I'm going to draw around the rest of it on the other two sides. So I'm going to pop the two little notches in there to cut down that straight side, and then I'm going to mark. You don't have to do the full dotted line, but the dotted line is where we're going to score. So I'm actually literally just going to mark in each edge here, and I'm going to pop a little mark on this edge here, and I'm going to use the line that I've already got at the top. Okay, so that then simply follows through to cut out on the guillotine. All right, so you can cut round it with a pair of scissors if you wish, but all I'm going to do is line up my pencil line with the edge of the guillotine. So I'm looking at the outside of the blade here, and just get that around so you can, it's hard with the handle up. If I show you the bottom here, I'm going to line the pencil line with this outside edge of the guillotine. I'm going to use the top to make sure that I've got a nice right angle and that it's nice and straight here, and then literally cut down that pencil line perfectly with the guillotine there. All right, so we've got a spare piece of that to one side. Flip it round and do the same on that other side. So again, lining that pencil line up with the outside edge of the guillotine there, making sure that it's all nice and straight before you commit to it, and then just take that edge off. Okay, and then I'm going to bring the scissors in a second because we're just going to score those lines in first. So again, on the inch side of my board, and whichever side I looked at here, I was not quite lined up with the score line. My score line comes between the 1 1/8 and the 1 2/8. So I thought, right, let's have a look at this side. And I'm actually closer at this side. It's the one before the 7-inch mark is almost lined up, but again, it's not perfect. So this is where that black line comes in handy. For those of you that haven't seen this before, it doesn't come. Our top score doesn't come with the black line, and it's just a permanent marker pen, and I always run it down the 4-inch line. All right, if you work in centimetres, then you can run it down the centre on the other side. And this gives you a line that you can match up top and bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my pencil marks in that track so that I know that they're exactly where those score lines need to be. All right, so once I've got those in place, I can now run that down that 4-inch line, and I know that they're exactly where they need to be. Rotate again, and I've got the same with those two pencil marks in that black track there, and add my score line in all the way round. Okay, so just line it, and it's worth spending the time here to make sure that this is as perfect as it can be, because you want to fit over. You don't want to end up with this not fitting over the top of the structure that you've made. So again, just make sure to the best of your ability that those are lined up beautifully, and add your score lines in. Okay, now I've actually done that on the inside, and what I was saying about the cardstock is that we tend to fold away from the score line. So now that I've got these in place, I'm going to flip it over and I'm just going to repeat that score line on the top edge, which is the one that I'm going to be folding it away from. So just to break up those fibres in the Centura Pearl and get a really nice crisp edge on that lid.
Would it crack then, Jan, if you folded it the other way?
If
folded it without that top score line in it?
Well, technically, you're stretching that cardstock away from where you've just scored, so there is a chance that you might get some cracking. The Centura Pearl behaves itself pretty well, but I just think it's worth spending. You know, you've gone to all this time to make a really nice sort of gift box. It's worth taking that extra time to just do that on the edges, and then literally we can add these into place now. So where you've got the score line, fold them over, and again, wherever you fold, you're going to burnish, minus the bit of glue. So all the folds, a nice burnish, just to get that nice crisp edge. And then when you look at this, if I get our Charlotte to come and have a close-up for me, you can just see those edges on there are perfect. There's no cracking on that whatsoever.
No crack in the crease.
Absolutely beautiful. All right, so it's worth just spending that little bit of time. Thank you, Charlotte. And then all I'm going to do, I'm just going to grab the slightly bigger scissors for this bit. And again, just like making an ordinary box, we're going to snip into these and make tabs on the side. So all I'm going to do is look at where my score line is here, and I'm going to cut to the right-hand side of it. I want to cut away that score line. Now, I'm right-handed, so I tend to work this way around. If you're left-handed, you might work on this side, and that's fine. As long as you do the same on all four corners, it doesn't matter which way you go. And then I'm just going to snip in as if I'm cutting away that score line, and I've taken a little tiny sliver out of there to help when we put it together. And then I also like to take a little tiny piece off that top edge as well to create that glue tab that's going to stick the box together. So then rotate 90 degrees, and we're going to do exactly the same again on that outside edge. So I'm cutting away the score line so that you've got a nice neat finish on the edge of your box here. Take this one away, and I'll explain why I've taken that edge away when we come to stick it together. Rotate. And this is just the same as any box lid that you've made. If you've made constructed a box before, it's just the template was there to give you the correct sizing to allow it to fit over the top of that structure that we've already made. Okay, so last one. Snip, snip, snip. And you should end up with a piece that looks like so, with your little tabs in there ready. So we'll get rid of those. And again, I'm going to go with the double-sided tape pen now for this one. And we're going to pop some glue on all four of the tabs. How much time we got left?
Oh, we've got about 15 minutes or
In
so.
fact, I'm going to I'll do the matten layer for this first then. As you can see here, we've got a matten layer on top of the box, and then I've used some of the elements. These are all from that metal. You've got the scalloped edge square, the stitched edge square, and the little heart to match the ones inside. And again, I'll talk you through that in a second. So I just want to make a piece that fits in the top of here. We should have time to get that bit done, and I find that easier to do while it's still flat. So again, I should have some leftover piece of plain cardstock, all right, and I'm going to do a piece that is 4 3/4 inches. So my box lid measures 5 inches square. I've come down that 1/4 inch again, and we're going to go to 4 3/4 to make that mat layer. So whatever piece I've got left over, if that's the right size, it saves me cutting into a new piece. So that's my mat layer there to go on here. And then again, I'm just going to have a look at what I've got left out of my papers. And I think that one's a little bit too lilac-y for what I'm after. So I'm going to cut it from this area here. And this one wants to come down that 1/4 inch again to 4 1/2. So 4 1/2 inches. I'm going to take that piece off there and there. I don't mind if there's a little tiny bit of the pink creeping in there. Okay, and that one's going to mat and layer on the top of here. So again, just worth that time. If you've started it, then it applies to all the pieces. I can't just ink some. And again, I've not been back in the ink. There is sufficient ink on that applicator to do the job here. If you want it to be darker, then obviously you can re-ink your applicator, but that's fine. That's all I'm looking for. And then I'm literally going to use that glue again, just to get that matte and layer at the ready. And then I've kept this matte layer flat, but the embellishment piece that I put on, because we were on the top of the box there and nothing was going to interfere with that, I did actually pop that embellishment piece on the top here with a little bit of foam. You can see that this is actually raised slightly off the edge of the box. All right, so that's fine, but I wouldn't do anything on the inside with any foam tape, just to make sure that that box is going to close nicely. So last piece there on the back of my matte layer, and that's going to go in the centre of that lid, and just leave that nice little border all the way around again. And I find that easier to do while it's flat. You're not pressing on here into a hollow piece here. So I do prefer to do that matting and layering while it's still flat. And then we can come back in with the tape pen, load up those tabs that we've created, and I'll explain now why I cut that piece off the edges as well. So whereas we cut into here, and I cut the slight wedge off the sides as well. If for any reason something's not 100% straight, when you come to put it together, like so, you can sometimes have a little piece of the tab sticking up here if it's not quite aligned. Just by taking that little sliver out of it, it just ensures that you get a nice finish on it. So again, you know, you'll find your own way through this.
Out, don't they, Jan?
Some people do it, some people don't. I just think it's a little insurance policy that you know, you only need to be a millimetre out somewhere, or an eighth of an inch out, and you could get a little bit of that box popping up over the edge. So again, I've just done it like so, and then once those are in, again, I like to just use that bone folder, and all I'm doing is pressing on that tab there, all right? Just to make sure that that glue's stuck down nicely, it's adhered properly to the other side, because as I say, you're going to use this, you know, the lid's going to come on and off the box. The last thing you want it to do is start falling apart. And then if we've done it all correctly, we can bring our base piece back in that we created. We can fold all those boxes in together nicely. They all sit in there to create the sides of the box. And then our lid goes over the top. And you can see there how we've got that really nice fit. It wants to be quite snug. Okay, just to make sure it goes inside like so. Oops, just over that corner. And it should slide onto the top like so.
Perfect.
Okay, now then, there is a little bit more work to do. I can see we've got, what, about 12 minutes left. Don't know how much more we're actually going to get done in the time, but I'll talk you through what I didn't get done. As I say, it's hard to work out. That's the hardest part when we're planning these projects, is how much are you going to fit in those 2 hours. So the only thing that we haven't done is on my original one. If I pop this back together now, I actually popped some matte. I thought it looked a bit, you know, you might like it. You might like the white against it. Absolutely fine. On my original one, I did some matting and layering on the outside as well. So let me just pop the lid back on and I'll show you what I mean there. So when I pop this one on the side, you can see there that we've got a matte layer that fits the side of the box all the way round. So if you want to add that layer, all right, again, you know, if you're not sure about it, measure the sides of your box. And if you remember, we cut these at 5 inches wide by 2 3/4 inches, oh sorry, 3 inches tall. So your matte layer wants to come down that 1/4 of an inch. So we're going to come down to 4 3/4 by 2 3/4 for our green matte layer. And then you're going to come down that 1/4 of an inch again. So let me write these down for you in case you're following along. Let's pop these to the side. So I'll put the outer mats, the the plain 4 3/4 by 2 3/4, and then the paper layer, the patterned layer, come down 1/4 inch again, so 4 1/2 by 2 1/2, and you're going to need to do that by 4 pieces. Okay. So if I leave you that one there with the edge of the box there, just to give you a reminder, and you can do your screenshot for that one.
I always want to do this screenshot noise every time you do this.
Yeah. You could be the sound effects guy. Yeah. So that's if you want to decorate those outside edges. And then I'll talk you through again all the embellishment side of it, because again, as I say, it's all personal preference as to what you decorate with. So coming back to the lid there, if I actually bring in the one that I did at home as the sample, I've used that lovely scalloped square to create the outside piece on here. Then to go with that, you've got a stitched edge piece. So I did that in the paper, and I went back to the Centura Pearl here to match the lid rather than the matting card that we've used. Inked the edge of that one, that's going to fit in there like so. And then I used that heart, because I'd used that on the inside, it's tied it all together. And then I had a little bit of ribbon to make my bow. And of course, it wouldn't be finished without a couple of little gems on here. Sentiment, again, it depends. I don't tend to do the sentiments as much when we're making them, because you might want to give this and you might want a specific sentiment on there. So again, whatever you fancy on there. And then on the inside here, let me just pop these pieces back. If you want to do some extra decoration, and I know Jenny's been getting on with this while we've been having a chat. I'm dying to see what she's done at the end, especially with the craft card. I love craft card. I have to be careful not to do the same thing over and over again when I'm doing the craft alongs. So the edges, the front outside edges of the box there, you can see we've got that lovely little stitched edge rectangle, and that was in the matting plain card. And then we've got a nice little decorative element that I brought in. I asked you to pop a piece of mirror card in as well. So those nice decorative elements I've done in the mirror card, and I've done that 4 times on the front edge of each box. So there's so many different bits to play with. You know, you could do this, you know, you might want to use this decorative element. You might want to use this shape. You know, there's so many different options. And then the last piece inside was this lovely scalloped edged stitched part here. So you can see there where we've got that was done in the matting card. And then again, sticking with that heart in the mirror card, just to create that sort of, you know, that connection with the front and the back. And then all I did on the inside, because I wanted to create a little sentiment on the inside there, I've used again that stitched edge square from that piece of metalwork. And I've just cut a piece of white stamping card out of one of the scraps that was left over, chosen a sentiment, and a lot of my sentiments are from the verse compendium that we did a few months ago, and literally inked it all up again so that it matched and stuck that into the bottom. So that's as far as the embellishments go. The tops of the boxes, the front edges of the boxes, the sentiment, and then whatever decoration you want on the lid there. So what I'll do now is, again, if you want to take a screenshot of it, I'm going to pop these where you can see them, so that if you want to screenshot that so that you can see where the embellishments go. In fact, if I lift this edge in, you can see that sort of decorative edge on the little box as well there, just in case you want to add any of those pieces. That one's falling out now because I've tipped it on its side. All right,
really
so
gorgeous.
If you want to just grab that, and then, as I say, decorate to your heart's content, and do share them with us. So if you've got to this point and you get to do the embellishments later, either pop them to Crafters TV, or you can pop them on. I know a lot of you message me, sometimes you put them on my wall, sometimes you message me, however you want to do it, and I will always try my best to actually get back to you with them, because I love seeing them, especially when they're all done in different colourways as well. So yeah, nice one there, Joe.
Yeah, really lovely. And you know, obviously you've got 3 different boxes here in this particular collection. And of course, theme these up however you want. You know, you've got the sort of construction element of the boxes there, but think about all the different finishes, themes, occasions that you're going to be able to put these together for. Let's pop back to Ohio. And we're going to go and have a little look at what Jenny's been up to Before we do that though, let me take you back through the deal and what you are getting. So you can of course remember watch this back anytime you wish. So this one here, this is the roll-up treat box that you've got, which is that one there. And what that's going to do for you is it's going to produce these for you, which are amazing. So it makes this beautiful fold-out selection of boxes there, which is amazing. So you've got that particular one. So that is all of that. And then all these, so the other great thing is you've got all those amazing details included within there too. Then you've got this one just here. Now this is your prism treat box. You get the stencil, of course, which is going to allow you to connect these together as well. And the prism treat box is going to make this for you, which I think is absolutely amazing. Really, really cool design there. I was thinking as well, if you want to do something like an advent calendar for these, you could have like, you've got 6 in there. I'm just thinking about different things. You could actually have selections of all these, you know, a few of them, Jan.
You could do one for each week and have like an advent week each week, couldn't you?
Is it 24 or 25? It's 25, isn't it? 24
It's nice.
days or 25 days on an advent calendar?
I've only ever done 24 up to Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
Because
So you
Christmas
could
Day, you've got yours generally, hopefully, if you've been good.
So
You've
you
got
could
lots of
do
things to
4
open,
of
haven't
them.
you?
Boxes,
You could do
which
one for
might
each
be
week, couldn't you?
really
That'd be
cool.
brilliant.
Yeah, and then the other one you're going to get included, you're getting all 3 designs here, is the picnic treat box as well, which is this one just here. And the picnic treat box gives you the option to make a few different ones, actually. I love the fact that you can sort of scale them up. So you can make smaller ones, which are awesome. You can also make a kind of like basket, which is a really interesting way of doing it also. So you've got that basket there. Love the fact that you get all the cut-in detail as well, which is brilliant. And then you've also got this one just here, so you can then really scale that up and do exactly what Jan has just done and make these awesome boxes, which I can't ever get. Oh, these ones detach.
Oh, look at that.
Look at that.
That's a clever idea,
Isn't it? I love that.
Fabulous.
Absolutely love that. And then you can reattach them back into there, which is absolutely fabulous. £71.99 or £81.56 if you want to get those. We're back together again, aren't
I
we?
know,
later?
I like the
Fast
fact that we can
together.
actually get closer together
I
now.
know.
Get right next to like this. Look.
So Creative Cravings in a
Yes,
little while.
we've got that coming up at 6 o'clock. I have to keep thinking
It
now with the
is,
schedule
yeah.
changes. 6 o'clock, yes. So I've got those mini dies back on at 6 o'clock.
Lovely.
I have got, can I just say, last time these came in, they flew out the door, Joe, and I don't think we've had them back in since. We've got the inverted nesting dies back in stock. So I've got all 3 designs for you. We're going to do some demos with them, but I will just say that when we had them in, when we launched them, I know they disappeared quickly.
didn't they?
Yes.
So that'll be coming
So
up.
if you're interested in those, have a look ahead of the show.
Creative Cravings, I mean, definitely something for everyone to learn, but definitely that maybe more beginner focused show.
Yes,
So
and
any
I've
questions you've got,
yeah,
great
I've
to
actually
get them
keyed
in.
my demos into that, even back to the extent that we're going to have a look on the first demo at actually how to make a card blank and how to create those mats and layers again. So taking it right back to basics for the benefit of people that are just starting out on their crafty journey.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So join us both for that. So 6 p.m. in the UK, 1 p.m. East Coast, 10 a.m. If you are across on the West Coast. And make sure you send those pictures in to us, share them with Jan on her Facebook and on the Crafts Companion Facebook as well. Right, we are going to take a quick pause. We're going to take a short break. We've got a few gremlins in the system, which means we can't go back to Jenny, unfortunately, but we are going to take a short break, and then what we're going to do is going to come back with a fresh feed, and hopefully it will
with our
get rid of
Keith,
all
yeah.